Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to another Total War Thrones of Britannia online battle. We are back again with another epic 3 vs 3 custom map engagement. I believe this is one of the newer maps that were recently added in the most recent patch that came out a couple days ago, and it looks absolutely awesome. Once again, I know I say this every episode, but the Thrones of Britannia siege maps are literally, for me, what makes the game. They are so fun and literally the best maps that we have ever seen in Total War. So I'm hoping that they'll make a kind of resurgence into Three Kingdoms when that game comes out, because yeah, we definitely do need these epic siege maps and they make for some really exciting battles. So we have some pretty interesting forces on both sides. I think we are numbering, we're numbering over 20,000 men, which is pretty crazy, as we have a little cavalry skirmish going off to harass some of the infantry that are over on this right hand side. We're going to see a lot of heavy berserkers and Vikings over on this right hand side, ready to assault the city and burn it to the ground. As you also see some artillery making its way in as well, which is going to get some nice hits off onto the cavalry as it comes off. But whilst that's going on, I'm sure they'll just be harassing, trying to take out some artillery and stuff. We can take a look at that. But what I really want to take a glimpse at before this battle really gets underway is just the overall custom map in general. Well, it's not even a custom map, sorry. This is a normal Thrones of Britannia siege map. So as you can see, there are several ways into the fortress itself. You kind of have this open wall going all the way around, which is going to be supported by other positions. However, there are going to be, multiple stands that will be able to be made at this castle, because you're going to have this kind of outer wall that, as I said, goes all the way around the fortress itself. But then you have kind of these upper layers as well, which can be easily covered by these defensive positions. You can have spear walls up here, along with a ton of other infantry. The same goes for over here as well. You kind of have this outer layer. Did they manage to get onto the artillery? They managed to hit it, but I think that these eastern Huskers are going to be able to repel them. You also have good positions for the artillery as well to range in. If you get your artillery pieces or archers up here, you can really help to actually take the walls. So again, it's just it's small things like this which just make this siege map so cool. And then obviously as you go back in, you have kind of this awesome last stand right here, 2 ways up through this mountain pass, all the way up to the final city up here, which is going to be covered with with defensive formations, loads of great overlooks as well, and other positions that the defenders can quite easily hold off if they need to. And I think that's just that's just so important to kind of really get this aspect across in siege battles, that after all, these are siege battles, and the castle, the fortress itself, was built here for a reason, right? So it's kind of stupid when a lot of the battles are so basic, because obviously we would have these really good defensive positions, and I think it makes it just such exciting battles. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get this one started. We have 2 eastern forces, or 3 eastern factions, or Viking factions. I don't know why I keep calling them easterns, because of the Axemen, I think. And they're going to be going up against, I believe, some Irish factions. Maybe are these Irish or Scottish? One or the other. But either way, this should be a very, very exciting battle. 3 vs 3, 20,000 men in this engagement. What's not to love right here? And as you can see, the cavalry is already being repelled. They did manage to kind of harass and slow down the assault, which is always good. And they've also managed to hide some cavalry over in the woods here. I think it might have routed and came back, and now it's just kind of hiding here. Now I'm sure we'll see that bad boy again later, coming in and causing some havoc. But the nice thing is about this kind of initial assault is you've kind of disorientated the attackers. Now this army is very, very kind of stagnant compared to the other assaults as well. You got, oh my god, look at how many siege towers are moving forward right now. We're going to see one hell of a battle. Also, you may notice that this battle is 70 minutes long. There is a big, I think they said in the replay, that there's a big 20-minute section where there's just a lot of maneuvering going on. So what I'll do is obviously make sure to cut out that maneuvering when it comes to it. Who's at the walls over here? No one's at the walls over here. One of the things also I love about these maps as well, right here, okay. One of the things I love about these maps as well is they really have a great sense of staging for battles. You kind of have the initial battles for the walls, but even on the first kind of like outer layer, you really get this sense of like retreating back. It's a slow retreat backwards to this position right here. This section of the wall is probably going to be given up, and same over here as well. Like these 2 sections are going to be given up as they kind of fold back in on themselves, protecting these entrances, and then this this will be kind of the main section of the defense over time. And I just love that even in the first kind of initial assault, we still get these kind of people falling back and defending. I think this is really, really neat. Again, one of the greatest things about this. So they're going to be defending that tower. Oh my god, did you guys see that? Our soldiers got absolutely ruined by the arrow tower, shot in the head. The battles are going to be clashing now as both sides look to throw in their heavy infantry, and this tower is going to be huge right now. It is really a necessity for the attackers to get as much infantry up here as possible to quickly take this tower for themselves. I think that's exactly what they're going to be doing as they funnel off of the siege towers. You know, these are going to be a great platform to get more and more infantry off into the city and aid out elsewhere. A lot of the streets are being blockaded, though, by the defenders as best as they can. But the Vikings are going to quickly be making their way off of the siege ladders and charging in to break against the ranks of the defenders. There is actually a lot of light infantry here as well, which might be repelled quite easily against the more heavily armoured infantry attacking. Oh, is there part of a wall going down, or was that a tower? Something happened here. I think maybe they're trying to destroy it with artillery. Would not be a bad idea. Open up another breach to reinforce an assault here. Not a bad idea at all. Getting more axemen as well, charging off against the Welsh. Oh yeah, so we have some Welsh here as well. I'm not sure if they're both Welsh factions. Maybe it's like two Welsh and an Irish faction defending. But yeah, there's some pretty heavy infantry here by the Welsh, so they're going to be able to hold their own right there. Sorry, I know I am jumping at, like kind of between all the different engagements, but I just want to see how each one is developing bit by bit. Because as I've mentioned in like previous battles, a lot of the time what ends up happening in these engagements is that as soon as like one breach point occurs, like one kind of defenders being pushed back and the attackers advancing forward, is going to put so much more stress on all the other defensive positions, meaning that they're going to have to fall back in two, and you really start to get a big crumble of the outer layer defense. Which can be really, really beneficial for the attackers because, you know, all they have to do is really make progress in one section and then the rest of their positions will be a little bit easier. We've got another unit of infantry here charging forward to fight these Irish spearmen who are holding bravely. They are going to be going up against some pretty heavy infantry. But with the support of the arrow towers, who knows? The arrow towers are really, really strong, so the longer they can be kept up, the better. We actually got some infantry running now. Where's this over here? Yeah, I think the Vikings are going to be doing a great job of breaking through. There's also they're setting fire to the town, so we're going to slowly start to see the settlement damage tick up. Some nice missile fire as well from the Eastman hunters trying to pick away at the archers of the Irish. It's a really cool artillery position right here as well. As I said in the last video, I think I did, it would be so awesome if you could actually put this artillery onto the walls, that there were special emplacements. Like, just like putting any other infantry on the wall, that you just click on them and right click and they'll just go ahead and like deploy, like in a battery. That would be just so goddamn cool. So right now, the defenders are holding really effectively. If we take a look at the kills, both sides have relatively lost a similar amount. It looks like the defenders have lost a couple more, but you know, it's very much 1-for-1 at the moment, which as for the defenders, that is awesome for them, because eventually the attackers will just run out of men if they're not careful. Because both sides started with very similar men. I mean, the Allies started with a foul 1,600 men more. Oh no, sorry, just like 600, 700 men more, just under. But obviously their troop quality is going to be a lot worse. I believe in most thrones and Attila, the defenders get something like 25% less funds, so the attackers have kind of that quality advantage. Whereas the defenders normally tend to bring less quality in their army. They can go for like more elite concise formations and stuff like that. However, on a map as big as this, it's just not going to happen, is it? We can really see the assaults. There's actually a big gap right here. You can see they are being quickly committed to go and block this gap. However, that could be a good assault right there. There's a nice move here by the attackers as well, or the defenders even, to completely surround this unit of Eastern Huskals. A really, really nice move here because they've managed to surround them. Artillery is coming in and reinforcements are on the way. However, they'll be able to go ahead and basically kill this entire unit of Huskars before this unit really gets kind of gets punished for this. Well, that's such a bad thing right there. I wanted to go and jump on this unit who jumps in. They've actually routed them. They routed them as well, so they can quickly reform and stop themselves from being completely outflanked. So this is a beautiful move here by the attackers, seeing that the defenders seeing that the attackers were slow to make their way onto the walls themselves. So they quickly went ahead and surrounded one of the attackers. And I think we might see the exact same thing happen once again as the defenders continue to move up more axe infantry, which could quickly just go ahead and take out these berserkers. However, these are berserkers and these aren't easy soldiers to simply kill. So they'll be putting up a bit more of a stronger fight, and also they haven't been fighting for a little while like that last unit of axe infantry was. So I think they'll be faring a bit better even if they are enveloped. But yeah, another move going off right here. We do actually quickly get in more infantry coming. Again, yeah, this is really good by the defenders, seizing that the defenders are, seeing that the attackers are slow to get up here. The defenders are just enveloping them and taking advantage of that. Yeah, as you can see, another unit of axemen, even though these guys are light infantry and they are receiving a bit of missile fire, they're going to be charging in and actually surrounding another unit of berserkers. Berserkers quickly try to countercharge, and that is somewhat effective. However, now the friendly fire is coming in, and that's also doing a ton of damage to their own units right now. So some pretty brutal fighting. How is this far right-hand side going? I mean, they're putting up a pretty goddamn crazy fight here at the walls. A really, really strong fight. And there are still plenty more infantry left to come. There's also a unit of cavalry right here as well. Not really sure what they're up to. Probably looking to maybe try and hit some of these archers who have moved up. But yeah, this fight has been pretty goddamn horrific. They've managed to break their way through in a few of these like defensive places, but they are still struggling. The gatehouse is yet to be taken. However, they are also enveloping the defenders a bit, which is going to be nice. Some side kind of removing their shield from real play. And getting into the side of that spear wall is going to make it easier to break away from the front. That's for sure. So this is slowly starting to crumble. Obviously, the gate towers have gone down as well. But they're holding. They're holding for now. But it is only a matter of time until this entire quadrant has been broken. And I would not be surprised if we start to see a few units being brought back to maybe defend this alleyway right here on the way up to the upper hill. Because if they could get up here quickly, they could really put, just kind of surround these forces. Because, as I said, this map is extremely large. So there's a big amount of open area right here that if the defenders don't retreat quick enough, they're going to get surrounded and cut off as this army moves into the city and envelops a large portion of the defenders. The defenders are still trying to break through again. This seems like kind of one of the strongest parts of the defense right here. Really is a lot of infantry set up, and they're basically holding every single position. Over here as well, they're even getting some cavalry charges in as more infantry does find their way in, surrounding. The defenders have done an amazing job at taking advantage of these slow-moving attackers by just surrounding their formations, and that won't necessarily win them the day, but it will just cause more casualties to the defenders. Obviously, if they were just fighting from the front, it's not really an issue. But yeah, gaps are definitely appearing in the formation. Right here, as soon as this unit goes down, they're going to basically have free reign to run inside the city and start harassing. Over here as well, we're seeing a mass rout occurring. The cavalry is going to be doing some famous last cavalry charges to just try and, wound as much as possible. They'll only be able to do so much damage with how fewer numbers are left in their formation, as well as that the infantry is somewhat facing them. So the charge is just not going to be as effective as if they were managing to get a rear charge off. So it looks like the defense is crumbling. The city is ablaze right now. And we're seeing lots of infantry now being brought into the city. And I think the defenders will be pushed back. Yeah, here we go. We're going to come around. I've actually already managed to rout them, so we don't even need to rear charge that infantry right there. Yeah, we're starting to see a full-on retreat right now. The archers are maybe just acting as a rear guard. Lots of infantry up here as well, moving into the city. And yeah, this side has also been completely broken. And now it's really up to these, like, rear guards to basically just bide as much time as possible. Oh, there's some artillery shelling in as well. That's interesting. Shields up and doing. This is some good Welsh infantry right here. Some really good Welsh infantry. But I imagine it's going to be getting surrounded very, very quickly. Now that the other defences have completely broken. So let's quickly take a look. Whilst the last of these defences are just being completely smashed apart by the assaulting forces, let's see what they have left. So this part of the battlefield is still pretty healthy. I say that, but not really. So we have a lot of infantry falling back, a couple missiles, some javelins, which are going to be very useful, cavalry, infantry. The artillery up here is in the perfect overlook, just again to continue to harass them. I mean, what do we have up here? So I guess we're just mainly tier 3 infantry and a big quadrant. So they do a fair amount, but the nice thing is about, oh man, look how cool this bridge is, man. That is awesome. Yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea simply just to defend this position right here. Because it seems like there's great overlook positions. The attackers have to come into here. So, yeah, I don't know if it'd be even, you know, good to even defend out here. It might just be more beneficial to simply retreat everything back to that bridge, because that is just so good at defense. You've got archers covering this entire causeway. The bridge itself can be defended. Now, the only downside to this bridge is the fact that it's quite wide, so 2 units can really go across it. And that can be really, really effective, because you can just use more aggressive units to break through. You don't have to clump up your men as much. But it's going to be brutal. I mean, we obviously have the last little stand up here as well. These maps are just so good. Like, so good. I don't know if it's just, they're just not, they're good, but they're not like as amazing as I'm making them out. Maybe we've just been deprived from having Warhammer 1 and 2 battles. I forgot what amazing sieges look like, you know? I mean, this is the next step from Medieval 2, right? Medieval 2 has great battles with their multi-layer sieges, and then, you know, for a game that's 10 years old, you'd expect something like a lot better, and I think this is it, and I really hope that they do more of these. I mean, the fact that we've got 2 more in the most recent patch hopefully suggests that they are focusing on adding more maps in. Because, yeah, they're just absolutely awesome. And as I said in the beginning of the video, I really hope that maps like this have made their way into Three Kingdoms, because if, you know, you have these big battles with maps like this in China, oh, it'd be so cool. Because from my limited knowledge of Three Kingdoms as well, a lot of the battlefields themselves, maybe not so much cities, but a lot of the battlefields were very, very interesting and had unique parts about them. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see more stuff like that. So I think from now on, the next 20 or so minutes is simply going to be just moving in the Viking armies. They've got a lot of infantry to reposition and prepare themselves for this final assault. We will stick around, though, just for a little bit longer to watch these Welshmen defend their hearts out against the Vikings. There's even some Viking cavalry here as well, as these berserkers continue to charge in. But yeah, the fact that they're completely surrounded is not great. Well, they're actually technically completely surrounded. They have, you know, there could be another infantry unit coming around, but yeah, it's not looking good for them at all. Not at all. But yeah, everyone else on the walls themselves are basically completely broken. This unit sword infantry again is holding. I think all it would take is just something to go around the back to rear charge, honestly. But this is buying them time to retreat everything else back up the hill onto that bridge. And you can really see, if you take a look at this mini-map, you can see the infantry line just moving up into the city, the final stand of the city. And yeah, they'll definitely be holding this bridge, that is for sure. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and skip ahead now to when this final assault is going to happen. These outer defenses have been completely breached by the Vikings. Number-wise, again, it's still very similar, but the defenses have definitely closed the gap, which I guess is good for them. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll jump into it when they are ready for their final assault. So let's go. The final assault has begun. We are back, and the Vikings have advanced their way forward to the final layer of the city. However, they have taken quite a pounding as they have moved up, as archers have been harassing them, javelins have been thrown, and as you can see, the frontal units that have kind of been fighting throughout the battle have been sent in first to try and soften up the defenders. But these Welsh longbowmen are going to be having no mercy whatsoever, and they're going to be taking down as many of these Vikings as they can to give themselves a chance. As well as that, the city has been set ablaze. If we take a look at the outer layer, everything is just in ruin, and that is going to be pretty goddamn big for the defense, because we're reducing their melee skill by -7, which, as we saw in the last battle, does add up, especially on the lower tier units like archers, javelins, and anything else that the defenders are without a doubt going to have to throw in at some point. So we kind of have two kind of assaults here. We have one over by the bridge, which is going to be the main assault. We have the initial Viking army up here. We have kind of a reinforcement Viking army that is biding its time, and I guess it's going to come in and replace this army after the fight. And then we have the third Viking army over on this right-hand side, which is going to be trying to break through. It seems like this side is going to be the most secure for the defenders, just solely because this is their final layer of defense. That's kind of where they're keeping a lot of their tier 3 infantry, and they can kind of commit their men to this battle when they need to. Over here, though, I think we'll see this breaking at some point in the future, just buckling under the pressure of all this fresh infantry that is raring to go. And also on top of that, I think the defenders are going to run out of ammunition at some point. Especially as the battle goes on more and more, we're going to see infantry being dragged over to this position. Because again, you got some tier 2 infantry here, and as we said earlier, you know, then, wow, their melee skill is 0? What the fuck is going on here? Why is their melee skill so... Oh, it's the archers, okay. For a second, I thought I was hovering over the infantry. But yeah, that's a big thing. You know, these archers, because of the destruction of the city, are literally on 0 melee skill. And that's going to mean they're doing, like, no damage at all. That's crazy. Even just for the infantry as well, are down to 17 melee skill from whatever else they're normally on. So yeah, it does definitely add up. I definitely withdraw what I was saying in the previous episode, where maybe it needed to be a bit more. I mean, morale would be nice, but in an epic battle like this, having that many, you know, that reduction really does play a big role. I guess maybe my point was more that I would like it to be a bit easier to destroy the village and the city, or a little bit more enjoyable to burn the city. But I also think this map has done a great job of just kind of, you know, it kind of being a side effect. You know, as you move through the city, it basically just gets burnt. But that's really down just to the pathing of the city and where you're moving your units. So it's just better map design, I think, that, you know, this is more likely to increase. And I'm sure if you actively wanted to improve it, you definitely could. Again, these archers are just doing so much damage as they just focus down this position right now. They're getting so many kills, shooting the Vikings in the back. And whilst they have ammunition, they're just going to continue to do this. There's nothing really the Vikings can do. This is quite cool as well. It'd be nice if these guys were shooting back there as well. That does look quite cool as well. Like the burning house, the fortifications, the infantry. The archers simply just waiting for their time to save their ammunition, to shoot at whoever comes through that position. And there are still obviously plenty more. Oh my god, floating rocks as well. The Welsh have magic on their side. There's no hope at all. But yeah, I think, you know, they still have infantry over here. They have some good tier 3 infantry. So I think it's going to be a matter of surviving for as long as possible. Once the ammunition runs dry, which it is getting kind of close to, that's going to start putting the favor, I think, back in favor of the Vikings. Over here as well, more infantry is being committed to this fight. You've got some more axemen coming up here, and I think also another unit of swordsmen as well. That's my blood. Sorry, that was probably the worst accent I've done in my entire life. I apologize. There's just so much more infantry waiting for its time. Look at this. Just biding its time. More axemen being brought up. But there's not like a ton. There's a lot here, but there's not like a crazy amount. And as you can see, the defenders have still got an entire unit of archers left over here that can do some serious damage. And they brought over more archers over here to help out in this fight, which I don't think is a bad idea. It also wouldn't be a bad idea to shoot his general. He doesn't seem like he's in shield wall, so I mean, I imagine he'll go into shield wall very, very quickly. And there you go. He goes into shield wall almost immediately as I say that. But it would not be a bad idea, honestly, to you know, try and get some shots off into that general if you ever see him out of it, because the weaker he is, the more likely you're going to kill the general. And then if you kill the general, you cut the head off the snake, and you really inflict some serious morale damage. My god, I bet you the archers wished they had some way of replenishing their ammunition in this siege battle. Because the amount of arrows coming in, I bet you they wish they just had infinite. The ammunition supply is going to be running low, down to half on this one. This unit is almost down, so is this one. So yeah, infantry is now having to be committed to kind of make up for that lack of missiles as Axemen make their way through the spear shield wall. I think we're also getting some of these longbowmen as well who don't have any ammunition being thrown into the fight as well. Oh, he's routing. It's probably just archers, right? No, it's not just archers. Wow, it's actually axemen. Oh, wow. These are the gallow glasses are tier 3 heavy shock infantry. They've come back, but the fact that morale was that low is going to be huge. It's going to open up massive gaps in the line right here, the Irish line. And that's going to allow, you know, the Vikings to basically get through these gaps and do a lot more damage. You can see immediately a bunch more infantry is now being committed to this fight to simply silence it. But the Vikings are also bringing up more infantry as well, closer and closer, so it can be committed as soon as the time comes. And again, we'll take a look at this balance of power bar. Seems like the defenders have kind of edged away just a bit with their manpower. But remember, keep this in mind. I think this is something that is quite easily neglected, is that a lot of the men remaining are going to be archers. There's what, like 5, 6, maybe even 7 or 8 units of archers. You know, that's close to, if not over 1,000 men, which is really just the difference in this assault. Is going to be archers who are just going to be cut away. But the defenders are definitely looking pretty decent. Advanced power is still kind of in favor, I think, of the attackers, but only slightly, maybe by a couple % here and there. And the archers are run out of ammunition on this left-hand side. Do they have any more ammunition? I mean, there's an entire fresh army which is now making its way up. Oh, and this is going to be huge. The fact that the Vikings have saved 2 units of archers to this point in the game, that's going to be massive. They can basically focus down all the axe infantry that is waiting around here. They definitely do need to get this army up here quickly, because it seems like this Dyflin, I think is what this faction is called. It seems like this Viking faction has been beaten back now. There's still a few infantry left, and they've done some serious damage to this spear wall, taking down, you know, almost 100 man in each unit. So, you know, they were more. I mean, this army was the one that took the most punishment in the initial assault, taking the outer wall. So they were very much kind of like the sacrificial lamb in this battle. They were sent into the spear walls to absorb the ammunition. And you can even see some of these archers just conserving their ammunition now. They're waiting for the next army to arrive and get ready to push up into the city itself. Yeah, that is really... So this is also really interesting as well. A nice dynamic to the battle. And again, I think it's just such great map design. So what's going to happen if they break through this position right here? It's going to be very hard to defend this outer layer, because then all the infantry can basically just come round and then move around them. There's not really enough defenders to really block off this passageway. There is, but then it will leave this part of the battle really kind of vulnerable to any infantry just breaking forward and then enveloping them. So the fact is, because there's so many breach points along this way, the defenders have to be really careful with where they defend. If either this position breaks or this position breaks, they'll be able to basically go and relieve the pressure on the other side and envelop them. Which again, as I was saying in the outer wall battle, makes this so much more interesting, because it's really stretching the defenders. They can't commit all this infantry everywhere. just to these choke points, because if one choke point breaks, then they're in a really, really tricky situation. So, for example, if this position breaks right now, the infantry can go up here, engage these guys, and they could just simply run into the back here. And if these guys want to try and defend this passageway, then they're taking men away. So if they commit all of this infantry they have to defending this passageway right here, so that if this breaks, then they can have this position defended. However, what that means is that if they break through on this position, they can then go ahead and rear charge these dudes, that then when they break through there, they'll be able to come in as well and just hit from every single side. So really, really nice stuff there. I'm interested to see when these javelins will be activated as well, because they'll do some serious damage as the infantry continues to make their way forward. But it does seem like the Vikings on this kind of side approach are successful, and here we go. I'm interested. Let's see how many kills they have now. So they started off with around about 50 kills. They've got a handful of volleys left. Let's see how many they end up on, because I imagine it'll be something pretty crazy. I say that, they're not actually killing that many. They're killing quite a few, but they're not killing anything out of this world. Yeah, we're getting a lot of the infantry as well, forming their shield walls to protect them. But these guys... Wait, are they even hitting? The javelins are coming down, but what? Oh, they're focusing down these axemen. Okay, that's a smart decision right now. We've got up to 80 kills. So that's about 50 kills. That's not too bad. They're also going forward onto this awesome assault. I mean, shout out to this defensive formation right here. I used to do this so much in Rome 1 Total War. When you used to have 2 units of pikes, you just stuck them at the gate and the AI would throw their infantry forward. But also, there's a few gaps here. If the player wants to be a bit risky and try and pull through some infantry here, through these gaps, they really, really can, and kind of get around the flanks. And there's a big gap here as well. So the attackers can definitely seize this if they wanted to. The next army has now arrived as well. Archers are simply up here. Are they out of ammunition now? No, they've still got their ammunition back here. Yeah, the 2 units of archers with generals brought up as well.
An entire unit has perished.
Whereabouts is that? They are fighting bravely. I think it's just a unit of archers or something. Okay, we've got a small engagement right here. The javelins are out of ammunition now. So how much? They managed to basically get, 60, 70 kills. That's not bad. I honestly expected them to get a few more, if I was honest. But, as long as they're killing heavy elite infantry, they're going to pay for themselves. This javelin unit was probably extremely cheap. So it definitely paid for itself in the end, and probably did a lot of HP damage as well to the units. So the infantry is going to be clashing in right now. Again, leaves them a little bit vulnerable right here. This could be definitely exploited by the attackers if they wanted to charge in. Is that like all the ammunition? No, so this is the only parts of ammunition left for the defenders. And once that goes down, it's going to be brutal for them to try and stick around. It really, really is. The Vikings just picking away a few of the infantrymen that have come out of the shield wall formation. I mean, how is this shield wall looking as well now? Still pretty healthy, honestly. It's going to be hard for them to really break forward. I mean, these guys are basically useless. So this is what, like 4 units of archers? 5 units of archers here, so that's like 120 men apiece. That adds up, and that's basically useless. Also, we're seeing more infantry being brought back over here as well, as the pressure is really starting to mount as the Vikings commit some of their most elite infantry. They have 4 units of Huskels back here, and there's no missiles to shoot them at all. Like, literally no missiles. So they're going to be charging in here, having a field day against this tier 3 infantry. There's even a unit of tier 1 infantry here. Oh, you poor, poor men. You're going to be absolutely demolished by the Huskels.
They're trying to get in.
They are indeed, but you better hold your goddamn line. I imagine, what is their melee attack with the debuff going on? So they're down to, what, 17 melee skill? Or is that what they started with? I'm not sure if that's what they started with, and it's actually a lot lower than that. Because obviously that bar looks very, very small.
We broke them.
Yes, I don't know if they're actually on like 0 or what. No, they must be, because when we hovered over them archers, it showed us a really, really small number, right? Yeah, it shows us 0 on these guys, so I imagine that is the actual number of their melee skill. I mean, we compare that to unit of Huskels or something. Yeah, these guys are on 37, so they're going to be ripping forward. That's like 20 more. More infantry being thrown into the fight. Oh my god, and here we go. It's exactly what I'm saying. It looks like a big gap has appeared, and the Vikings are going to be exploiting that as they throw forward more infantry into the fight here. The Berserkers even being committed as well. They just need to put so much pressure on this position, because as you can see, the defenders are having to commit more and more infantry to try and stop this. So if any breaches occur right here, which again, it looks like the numbers are starting to go down for these shield walls, actually quite quickly, they can quickly commit men over here and actually just help out in these assaults, and vice versa. If they can break through here, they can engage this front line there and then advance forward. I mean, realistically, it's probably down to this side to be the ones who break forward. But the infantry is just literally running amok as the battle lines get thinner, as more men go ahead and die. Gaps appear in the battle line. And you can see now the archers are moving in. How much melee attack do these longbowmen have? So these longbowmen have 1 melee skill, which just means they're basically going to do no damage to the Vikings, because their defense is just far too high for that chance to hit to really be an effective mechanic. They are also committing a lot more infantry. Are we getting archers from the defenders, or was that attacker archers? No, they're still defender archers, but they must be out almost, very, very quickly. And look at this. They could try and break their way up here, try and get around the flanks. They have the numbers. They do have the amount of infantry. They just need to break their way in. But the Vikings are being repelled once again as more and more infantry do get committed. So I honestly don't know how to call this battle. It's really whoever breaks forward first. You can see a lot of routing infantry over here as well. The Huskars being sent into battle as well. We do seem like we do have some more gallows glasses as well. It's going to be a great charge here by the Axemen into the side of these Vikings. It's going to be very, very effective at killing them. Yeah, you can see many of them being dispatched with these, but then more infantry being committed as well by the Vikings being brought up into the fight. Yeah, I think if one side breaks, the battle is over. Just because they'll be able to aid so much here. You can look at all of these guys just being brought into this killing box. Oh, if only there was some javelins left now. Imagine if javelins just throwing into this battle. That'd just be absolutely crazy amount of kills they'd be able to get. I honestly just don't know, because a lot of this bulk right here is just mainly the archers. The archers have been brought up as well, and I think they're going to be solely focusing down maybe these Welsh axemen, who are now in shield wall, so I imagine the focus will be changed elsewhere. The lines are looking very, very thin right now, and the Welsh are losing their longbowmen bit by bit. And once their numbers start to filter out, I don't know, this is going to be a close one. And I should mention this as well, guys, if you are enjoying these Thrones of Britannia battles, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you think of these siege maps, of these battles. And also let me know if you want to see more. Well, that was a brutal assault right there, breaking through his armor as well. Yeah, these archers are going to be so crucial. Is whether or not they can cause enough damage to this infantry. Or even the general being thrown in as well, some of the Hearthguard. These guys are tier 1, but I still believe they pack a punch, even though they are kind of the lower quality general. Yeah, the Welsh are being cut to pieces. These longbowmen just don't stand a chance, and they're going to be routing as well. This is going to be pretty brutal, because if they can break through this entire section, if they pay attention to this and realize that there's only longbowmen here and 1 unit of Welsh mail axes, they can easily break through the position and come round. However, how's the fight going over here? It seems like the Vikings are giving it everything they have, but I don't know if they'll be able to do it on this left side. And really, now it comes down to just this infantry holding for as long as possible. If this infantry here can keep the rest of the defenders at bay, then that's going to enable them to make the breaches over here, to then quickly send infantry to reinforce. You even see this retreat coming off as well. Oh yeah, this is the point they want to try and break through. If they can see this, they have some good berserkers they can try and commit forward. The gap has appeared. It's just whether or not they'll notice it Because that's the thing, in a lot of these battles, it's hard to kind of notice when you're just seeing infantry being thrown into the battle. And there's so many numbers everywhere, it's really hard to kind of determine who's got the upper hand. Also, it seems like the defenders have just jumped ahead. Holy crap. How have the defenders jumped ahead so heavily in numbers? Do they really have that many? Was I just not paying attention? I thought it'd be like a massacre because all the archers are now dead, right? We've even got some javelin cav here. That's going to be pretty big, but there's some javelin cav still left remaining. Oh my god, the beacons are lit, guys. The beacons are lit. Gondor sends for aid. It seems like the... or maybe that's the opposite. Maybe Gondor's going to turn up to this side. Maybe this is Rohan and they've called for aid. That's hilarious. The beacons are lit. I mean, it seems like from a crazy turn of events, the defending forces have just jumped ahead massively. Don't really know how, but I guess they've just slowly cut down and like whittled down the attackers. And these shield walls have been pretty strong at repelling them. The boys are done in that Welsh accent is so awesome. So cool to see that. Yeah, I think this is going to be the turning point. But I don't know, there's a lot routing here as well. I honestly don't understand how there's so many. I guess I have a lot of this back, but yeah, I guess I do have a lot of numbers still. But it's just the archers have been getting slaughtered. But I also guess there's not really a lot left. This cavalry could be extremely useful, though. If they can break their way, as I said, through this position, get this cavalry through, there's no axemen here. Like, the axemen kind of finish around here. We could easily get this cavalry through this position and cause some mayhem in the back. So even though the balance of power is very, very telling of the battle, I still think there's a chance the attackers could maybe pull something off if they play well. I just need to get their cavalry around the back. I mean, as I said, more infantry is being committed. They just need to use this cavalry really effectively. Maybe just try and pierce a hole in this formation. The Welsh mail axes are going to be an issue. That is for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, they are keeping back their berserkers for a reason. As more of the infantry does charge forward again, routing as they go. Yeah, they honestly just need to rout one of this unit. What general died? The general over here, that's going to be it for this army, I think. And I think that's going to be the battle, honestly. The battle has been lost right here. The fact that this quadrant of the battlefield got to kind of taken out is not going to allow them just to transfer the rest of their infantry elsewhere. And that will allow them to win the battle. But we will watch the last 7 minutes of it to see if anything does happen. Because you never know. You honestly never know. There's just a lot of infantry left remaining, though. Yeah, there's 3,500 defenders left, including archers and javelins who don't have any ammunition. So the real number's probably somewhere around... Oh my god, that sound was horrific. The real number's probably around about 2,900 for the defenders, which is still, 1,000 more than the attackers. And if we make our way over here, again, this is breach point right here. This cavalry needs to find a way around because the crazy thing is, oh wow, this is a huge break. If this unit right here routes, that is going to be absolutely insane. It's because they're exhausted. They just don't have any will left to fight. If this unit breaks right now, my god, this battle is completely back on. Because this infantry can come round, you can envelop all of these guys. It's another couple hundred infantry dealt with. You can charge down the infantry. The cavalry needs to go through this gap and rear charge them. If the cavalry can make their way through here and rear charge, I think the battle is, like, this side of the battlefield is won. The axemen also just being taken out. There's a few berserkers left. We're going to be getting chopped down by heavy cavalry. And axemen aren't exactly well known for their ability to fight cavalry, even though they're doing a good job of it right now. My god, they're slaughtering this general unit. Yeah, what the hell? Is it because he's trying to pull through? But these berserkers are just going berserk right now. and killing so much of this general unit.
The men have been routed.
Yeah, but we actually managed to kill the general, or rout the general at least. That is crazy. That should not have happened. Over on this side, have they been routed?
They flee
Not
before
quite yet. The cavalry is going in, but it needs to be going through this gap right here. It's a perfect... I mean, there's a few, like a handful of infantry, but the cavalry could easily get through that. The cavalry is trying to just brute force its way through, though. I just don't know how successful that's going to be. We're much more effective with rear charge or something. The cavalry of the other factions are going to be coming down as well. I mean, losing your general is going to be big. I mean, he has come back, and I think he is maybe still alive. Don't know if we can see him on the front lines. We haven't been notified that he's died, so I assume he's still alive. But that was risky. Losing that general, you know, there's a handful of infantry over here that is from that army, so you could have easily have lost both of these infantry. It seems like the fighting is going to be kind of wrapping up right here. As the Vikings do commit their last couple infantry. And who says defenders never win in these battles? Because in the last battle we had, the defenders did lose. I'll grant you that. But in this one, it seems like they're going to have the upper hand now. And I think it was really down to the archer usage. Just being able to pick away at the attackers bit by bit. Really gave them that kind of extra oomph they needed for their infantry to hold that line.
The devil take the Sea Kings! Smash the walls! Our men run from the enemy. This is shameful. Incoming charge!
More charges coming in. Yeah, more infantry is now making its way down. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an entire... Oh no, it does seem like they've broken through this. Are they going to force them to assault this position? We'll speed it forward now because... Yeah, they're gonna kill this, but they're not gonna be made to charge uphill. I guess they are. They are the attackers after all. Also, look at this. We've got damn berserkers. Oh, I just routed an entire unit of axemen right there. How many kills are these guys on? 600 kills. Holy crap. That unit of berserkers is mad. So they're going to be forced to go up. Oh, no. Actually, no. Sorry. I remember something, actually, from this battle, I believe. Yeah, we'll actually see it unfold, yeah. I believe I remember them telling me something about this battle, how it ended. I wish I completely forgot until now. I'll see if it is this one. It could just be another battle that we were talking about. Does seem like, though, more infantry is coming down from the hill. Yeah, we got more infantry coming off the hill. Yeah, I think that's this battle I'm thinking of. Could be another one, but there could still be a mass rout. I mean, there's only a minute left, but as we saw in the last siege battle we did, a mass rout occurred. You know, as soon as the generals died, everyone just decided to get the hell out of there. So, actually, maybe it is not this battle. Maybe it is just a mass rout, because there's a lot of infantry here which probably aren't too happy. I mean, you still have all of these berserkers left remaining. I still cannot believe this unit right here. Absolutely crazy. Almost 700 kills for 120 men. Each man killed like 7 dudes. It's crazy. More like 6, but you guys know what I mean. The shield wall has been brought up. I also think that this played a big part of the battle. You know, it's kind of crazy that only 41% of the city has been destroyed, considering, I mean, looking at it. I guess there are still a few quadrants. Maybe it'd be like really effective to have like light cavalry just go around burning all of this. Because this probably would have got you up to like -10 melee skill, which maybe could have made the difference in these battles. But there we go. The battle is over. The defenders are going to claim victory. And is it going to be a mass rout or is it going to be a surrender? Because I remember them telling me that the battle wasn't desynced. Yeah, there was just a surrender on the defenders' side. They realized all hope was lost and they would try and surrender too. And I like that. I like that they didn't just prolong the battle more. If the battle is really clear, just surrendering it is always a good idea. Like, I'm always up for last stands as defenders, but if the attackers just aren't going to break through, it's always cool to see that surrender vote coming out, because it just kind of buys us a little bit more time of just pure action. So I'm interested to see who else got over 600 kills, because that unit of berserkers went absolutely mad. So we'll start off with the defenders right now. Again, their archers doing great. This unit getting over 300 kills. A lot of the infantry staying up there as well. Over down to Hobbit's army. Yeah, this unit of infantry over 400. But I'm still... Oh, this one over 671. But I don't think that gets more than the berserkers, though. Dead Man spear line holding firm. And here's a Welsh longbowman. Over 300 kills. Very deadly. Then over onto the forces of the Vikings. Over 450 on this general unit. He is a true Viking. We have a lot of kills again on the just kind of spread out throughout the infantry here. 361. And where is he? Where is he? That berserker unit right here. 686 kills. Not too bad. And also the other guys getting over 400 kills is also pretty impressive. So make sure to drop a like and a comment, guys, if you enjoyed this one. And I'll see you in the next one.